Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at the super lightweight MSI Clutch GM41 Lightweight version 2. Is it worth it? Let's find out. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at the super lightweight MSI Clutch GM41 Lightweight V2. This is the version 2 of the Clutch GM41. Now there isn't really a great deal of difference between the original lightweight and the V2, and in fact if you go onto MSI's website, if you do a comparison, spec wise it appears they're exactly the same. But what they have actually done is they've improved the actual cable, the friction free cable, which is a braided cable which has been specially designed to basically travel around very smoothly on both mouse pads and desktop surfaces. And as you can see, it does what it says on the tin. So we're going to go through today, talk about the mouse, go through the specifications, also take a look at the software, look at the changes you can make there, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Now I will say, this has actually been purchased by me myself. I actually picked this up as a second-hand used bargain on eBay, but we'll put some links in the video description for brand new from Amazon, overclockers, etc, so you can pick one up if you want to. One thing I will say straight away is if you are looking for an absolute bargain, these on the second-hand market sell extremely cheaply, way less than half the original retail price. So if you're someone who doesn't mind having a mouse which maybe has been pulled by somebody else before, then this is definitely something to look into. Let's take a look at the packaging first. Also, as you can see, this is the GM41 Lightweight V2 mouse. Typical MSI packaging, no frills, no real wastage here, which is absolutely good. And inside, pretty much all cardboard, a little bit of plastic, all recyclable, which is good. It does show you the actual mouse on the front here. As you can probably work out already, this is a ambidextrous mouse, or at least it's a kind of symmetrical mouse. So both sides are pretty much the same, although the additional mouse buttons are on the left-hand side. But for me, as a left-handed person, I find it absolutely fine. I've kind of got used to using my pinky finger for using the side buttons. There's no problems at all. And in terms of grip wise, this suits pretty much most types of grips, claw or basically kind of anyone really. It's one of those mice which it kind of fits pretty much most people, left-handed, right-handed, depending on your grip style, depending on your hand size. It's a very nice, comfortable mouse. So you will find it, basically anyone can use it. It's a very nice mouse in that regard. It's not the sort of thing you're going to buy and someone's going to put it on their desk and go, oh, I can't use that, it's horrible. Pretty much everyone that has actually felt this mouse that I know of has said, yeah, it's absolutely fine, no problems at all. So definitely a thumbs up. Also, you've got RGB support. So this supports, obviously, RGB lighting. There is a dragon logo on there, which illuminates, which you're probably seeing for some B-roll. You can control this in the MSI Center, should you wish to, or the older version, the Red Dragon Center. Works in either, absolutely fine, no problems at all. But if you're a purist and you don't want to have additional software installed on your PC, don't worry, MSI have got you covered. In the instruction manual, it tells you how to change the lighting styles, the colors, etc. And also even the brightness just by using the hardware buttons on the mouse itself, which is a really cool thing to be able to do. On the back of the box, it goes over some of the specifications. The ultralight gaming mouse, as we've said, it uses the Pixart PWM 3389 sensor, so a very high spec sensor. Built for victory. It's actually really well made as well, so there's no creaks or anything. You can crush it, squeeze it, all that kind of stuff, and you don't get that horrible plastically kind of creaky noise which you get with some mice. Even some of the more expensive ones, this is a super solid device. Also, it mentions on the bottom there about the friction-free cable. Actually, inside the packaging, you don't really get a great deal other than the mouse itself, the cable, which is obviously captive, and also you get the instruction manual. And as I said, inside it does tell you what the buttons do and actually how to control it if you don't want to use software, which is, again, like I said, very cool. So let's take a close look at the mouse. So mouse-wise, this is using Omron's 60 million click switches, so really nice and clicky. We'll listen to those now. The side buttons aren't Omron's, but they still do sound very similar and actually nice tactile feel to them. Something some people have noticed is the front button has got a little bit of a wiggle to it and a little bit of a wobble, so you can actually hear it slightly. No, typically it's not doing it when you want it to, but there is a little bit of a wobble there, so some people have noticed that. The mouse itself finished in a really nice satin type finish. even though I've been using this for probably about a week and a half now, you can't actually tell that I've been using it. There's no greasy marks on there. It's almost like PBT keycaps, where even if you've got greasy fingers, you don't get that shine on the buttons, or at least this one hasn't exhibited this so far, even though I've been kind of eating, drinking and working at my desk as we normally do. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's been used at all, to be honest with you. Something else which you're going to really like is the grip on the side. So you've got this really nice diamond pattern grip on the side. I'm still not entirely sure what this is made of. I don't think it's rubber, but it isn't plastic. It's somewhere kind of in between. Now, if you look at the review we did of the GM41 wireless, which is this one's kind of bigger brother, basically it's exactly the same mouse, although the sensor has changed and clearly the other one is wireless, so this is on a cable. But other than that, the actual feel, the look, design, and pretty much the weight is identical. This one comes in at 65 grams, so it is very, very lightweight indeed. Also, again, all the buttons really nicely done. Left-handed or right-handed, there's going to be no problems at all. There is a very, very slight channel in the actual buttons there, so if you're one of those people where your fingers kind of slip off the sides, then you're not going to find that, because you do feel that kind of ridge on the end, so you know you don't want to sort of slip off the end. That's really good. The buttons are in a perfect position for me for left-handed, so I can use my ring finger or my pinky to use those very easily. It's quite a low-profile mouse. There isn't very much of a hump to it at all. Does feel actually relatively flat in terms of mouse. You do get some which have got crazy humps on them, which I feel a little bit uncomfortable. This for me is a really nice kind of mixture of being very symmetrical, very flat, and just a very natural feel when it's in the hand. Also, you can see on the back there, you've got the RGB lighting, so you've got the MSI logo, which lights up. Again, you can change that in MSI Center or with the hardware buttons, change the colors, breathing, or just turn it off altogether if you wanted to. On the bottom, you've got the PTFE glide pad, so you've got two at the front and a large horseshoe-shaped one at the bottom. MSI logo embossed into the bottom as well, and also there is the DPI switch. Now for me, I actually prefer having the DPI switch on the bottom. Let me know in the comments what your feelings are on that. Generally, I don't generally tend to change the DPI that often. I kind of set it and forget it. That's what it's like for me. But you will also need that, so if you press the DPI button and a combination of the hardware buttons, then you can actually go through and change the lighting. So if you press that in and press the side button, so that is going to adjust the brightness, I think that one is, and that one changes the speed of the RGB. Press the button in the middle and you can change through the different types of lighting styles and colors, etc. So yeah, there's plenty of options there to change the lighting how you want to without having to use the software at all. It's really cool in that regard. Again, feels very nice. I've got no real faults with it at all. The only thing that I may really fault is potentially the price. Now at the moment here in the new market, you're looking at somewhere in the region of about £40, which for a lightweight mouse, I think for this kind of quality with Omron switches and that Pixart sensor is kind of where it should be, although you do pick up some kind of cheapy Chinese ones which have got very similar sort of specifications, but obviously not quite such good build quality. You can often pick those up a little bit less, but this one, like I said, there is, you can crush it and there is no noise to it at all. It's extremely well built. And obviously with the tie-in with the MSI Center, it makes it a really nice mouse. And speaking of which, let's take a look at the MSI Center now, and you can see what settings can be changed. So this is the MSI Center, and as you can see, I've got all my MSI peripherals attached, and it's really nice that you can have this all in this nice cohesive section. So in the features section, if you do install the MSI Center, you're going to have your gaming gear, which is going to show obviously your peripherals. So there is our mouse. So let's take a look at that one first of all. So you can set up your profiles. Option of 3 different profiles, and you can rename them, so you can have one for editing, one for gaming, and one for browsing if you wanted to, all that sort of stuff. With the mouse buttons, you can go ahead and click on them and you can change what they actually do. So if you are a left-handed person, you want to change your right and left mouse buttons over, you can do that. The back and the forward buttons you can change, or the middle button you can change to do something else. So you can choose it for either mouse buttons, or you can use kind of multimedia, or you can, if you want to, change it back to a DPI switch if you feel that is better for you. You can also set a macro to specific buttons, or you can actually disable a button if you want to. You can also in here go into the sensor. You've got angle snapping, which angle snapping is one of those features which is kind of cool, but also can be actually not very beneficial for certain types of gaming. So angle snapping is going to effectively try to straighten lines. So if the system or the mouse thinks you're trying to draw a straight line like this across with your mouse in maybe some sort of art package or something, then angle snapping will actually try and make that line as straight as possible. Obviously, if you're in a first-person shoot 'em up, angle snapping may actually stop you aiming properly, because it may try and straighten out a line where you're maybe kind of strafing or trying to snipe a target. Anyway, the options there should you want to use it. You also got your polling rates, so this does poll up to 1000 Hertz if you want to set it. Obviously, if you are playing older games which actually don't like that higher setting, you can change it back down, but I'll leave it to 1000. You've got your lift-off distance, which is something which is very cool, obviously for gaming purposes. If you're trying to adjust that, obviously the lower the better for some games. And you've got the option for 5 DPI levels, which you can set in here, custom levels. So we've got the level 3, which is what I've set to, is 1600. By default, it's 400, 800, 1600, 32 and 64, but you can change those accordingly. Anything up to 1600 DPI, as we said a little bit earlier. So that is pretty much the mouse all done and dusted, so you can apply your settings if you want to. And then, again, if you want to change your actual mouse RGB, you go into the mouse and you can choose various types of settings. So you've got steady, rainbow, breathe and customize, obviously different colors, and you've got your options for brightness with the slider there, so you can choose it however you want to. Or you can, if you've got a lot of MSI stuff or you want to kind of synchronize stuff with your MSI motherboard, click on that, synchronize them all, click apply, and it will basically make it so that all of your lighting is nice and in sync. So there we go, there is the MSI Clutch GM41 Lightweight version 2. Not much of an improvement over the original Lightweight, like I said earlier in the video. Basically, they've just improved the cable, which I guess is a little bit better. I personally would have likened this to being a little bit less coarse, or stiff, I guess the word I'm looking for. It still does move around nicely, and when it's actually on a desk gliding around, it doesn't really feel like it's dragging at all. Unfortunately, the Lightweight, the first version, did drag a little bit more, so they have improved the cable very slightly. If perhaps you don't want to have a cable at all, then it might be worth checking out the wireless version. You can check that out. I'll put links for that in the video description as well. Also, I'm kind of one of those people that I do like the wireless, but I also do like a wired mouse. For simplicity, I don't have to worry about charging it up and all that kind of stuff. You basically plug it in and it just works. And of course, this will work in pretty much most USB devices. So either your PC, your PlayStation 4, Xbox consoles, even some tablets with on-the-go adapter, you can use that sort of thing. So it doesn't mean it's just for PC gaming. You can use it for pretty much whatever you want at a very decent price and with very good tracking abilities. So anyway, that's going to wrap this one up. Let me know what you think about this one in the comment section below. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.